Welcome to Mind Body Monday, and thank you for joining. In today's session, we will be exploring the topic of seasonal allergies, and you guessed it, your gut, and what on earth is the connection? Well, in about 20 minutes or 25 minutes, you'll be all the more wiser. We're going to be looking at quick and effective ways to heal your gut so you can lessen your allergy symptoms. I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite supplements that decrease the severity of airborne allergy attacks and reasons why. And I'm going to share with you some interesting new research about preventing allergies in infants and children that will help and impact positively on their future health. Also, we're going to take a brief look at the science behind why you sneeze, cough, and experience seasonal allergy symptoms. Because if you understand that, you understand why the interventions I'm going to suggest are so important. Okay, and we're going to have a quick Q&A towards the end of our session. I always like to kick off with a story, a real story from my practice. And this one is about a 68-year-old man who came to see me suffering from seasonal allergies for the last 20 years. He had a 5-minute short walk from his home to shul every morning. But this route took him by flowering trees, blossoming trees, and specifically an olive tree, which triggered an acute allergy attack that would last several hours into most of the day. So his only option was to take an alternative route, which avoided these trees, but was about another 15 to 20 minutes walk each day, which means he had to get up earlier and change his whole routine. So he survived the allergy season with ODing on antihistamines, eye drops, scrambling for the softest tissues that he could find. And with all of this, he was drowsy most of the time, very, very thirsty as a result of the antihistamines. He had stuffy head, cloudy thinking, wasn't very productive at home or functional at work. And bear with me while I share with you some of these insights and interventions, and we'll come back to him in a little bit. So there really are 2 types of allergies in the broader sense. There's airborne inhaled allergies like animal dander, dust mites, cockroach particles, mold, pollen, etc. And then the second type of allergies, there's food allergies. Well, today I'm going to put the spotlight on airborne inhaled allergens as it shows up as seasonal allergies or hay fever, also known as allergic rhinitis. I don't know if you know, but about 50 million Americans suffer from chronic seasonal allergies, which is the 6th leading cause of illness in the United States. I'm curious to know if any of you suffer from seasonal allergies or actually allergies of any sort. Go ahead, just type in the chat so I can see who is here and what you have, so I can orientate some of this Mind Body Monday to you. So while you're typing that in the chat, for those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Avraham Gundle. I'm the founder and director for the Center for Integrated Medicine, and I practice functional and integrated medicine as my initial training was in osteopathic medicine. And over the last 30 years in private practice, I've been privileged to help many people overcome allergies of both sorts I mentioned, chronic immune issues, gut problems, skin issues, autoimmune conditions, asthma and eczema, just to name a few. Let's take a look at some of the science behind what causes a seasonal allergy attack, because once you understand that, you'll have a better insight in terms of how to go about really healing you from the inside. So I'm just taking a look at the chat. And yes, people have written on, yes, seasonal allergies and asthma. Thank you, Neki. And Tuvia writes, seems to have allergies, especially now sneezing for no apparent reason. Yes, this sounds very much like an airborne or inhaled allergies. So Seasonal allergies are usually caused by three main types of pollen. There's pollen from trees, pollen from grasses, and weeds. Now, they're called seasonal allergies because each type of pollen has a different season where they're the most potent. Now, to bear in mind, there are an additional collection of pollutants, which I'm going to generally call environmental pollutants, such as dust and heavy metals that we breathe in through fumes and may come into our body in various ways. But our body being preloaded with a variety of toxins and then having airborne irritants from the outside really creates a cocktail of irritants for most people's immune systems, and it sort of preloads the body. Just by the way, in my clinic, I do a test called a hair mineral analysis, where I take a sample of hair from the head, send it off to a special lab, and we look at not only the mineral profile of the body, which is key for healing, but also we look at toxic elements like lead and mercury and cadmium and arsenic. All these are heavy metals that block key enzyme pathways in the body, and also could pre-frame the body for a poor immune system, but also an acute allergic attack. So let's look at some of the what happens inside of our body. So during an allergic reaction, the immune system releases a group of chemicals called histamines. And this is what results in allergy symptoms, which could range from runny eyes, or itchy eyes, runny nose, itchy throat, all the way across to a full-blown asthma attack, and even can develop serious lung conditions as well. Hence, the medication antihistamines, which is a form of medication that turns off the histamine release in the body. And as a result, these allergy attacks don't happen, or at least the symptoms are much, much reduced. However, as everybody knows who takes these medication, they come with a slew of side effects: drowsiness, or sometimes sleeplessness, dryness, a foggy head, etc., fatigue, but they do not cure the underlying condition. And I do, in acute cases, recommend my patients to take antihistamines just to get them over the hump, to get them more functional, and then integrate some of the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you shortly. Now, recent research is finding that there is a very strong correlation between a healthy gut microbiome and fewer allergic symptoms. Well, why is this? This is because over 70 to 80% of our immune system resides in our gut. So this is really, really important, because the earlier on one can have an intervention or even start young, the better off. There's some interesting research about babies, infants who are breastfed. And in this process, important oligosaccharides, very important chemical nutrients, and probiotics like lactobacilli and bifidobacteria are fed into the infant, which populates their gut with the basis for a healthy microbiome. Now, infants and kids and people do sometimes get bacterial infections that may require antibiotic use. And as important as antibiotics are, they do disturb the microbiome. And research shows that antibiotics during pregnancy and infancy may be linked to an increased allergies later on in life. So this supports the understanding that a healthy, diverse, robust microbiome, the friendly bacteria in your gut, are key not only for immune health, but for laying the foundation to avoid allergies or tolerate allergens in the best possible way later on in life. there's some interesting research that came out of Boston where researchers identified 2 specific kinds of bacteria that protect against food allergies in children. And they found that when these 2 bacteria were given to mice, it increased the mice's tolerance for food allergies and actually even reversed pre-existing food allergies. So then the scientists there speculated that in the future, giving such bacteria to children whose microbiome shows signs of predisposing them to allergies, giving these can then prevent allergies forming in the first place. So this is very exciting and curative from the get-go. So flagging such infants is already being done. In one study, in 3 months old were found to lack the 4 key microbes, and they were predicted to have asthma by the age of 3. So early intervention could really, really save the day. So one of the key takeaways here is that properly nourishing the gut as early on in life as possible with anti-inflammatory foods, prebiotics, postbiotics, digestive enzymes are all essential for developing a robust immune system, a healthy, diverse microbiome, and possible prevention for allergies later on in life. I'd like to share with you my 5 favorite or my 5 top picks of supplements that decrease the severity of allergy attacks. There are many, many supplements. These are the ones, these are the top 5 that I use first in my practice. In fact, I use it with this patient in addition to some other strategies as well, using bioresonance, desensitization, etc. So in my practice, I advise my patients from about 6 weeks before the allergy season begins to begin to place special emphasis on eating a rainbow-colored diet of nutrient-dense eating. And this will do several things. Firstly, it will strengthen the immune system by bringing a broad spectrum of natural antioxidants through antioxidant-rich foods like green leafy vegetables, garlic, kale, the cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, scallions, and etc., which are also high in sulfur. And sulfur compounds also help the body against allergies. This nutrient-dense rainbow diet or eating plan also provides a gentle detox for the body, which helps to clear out some of the toxins I mentioned, those environmental toxins, and makes for a much, much more efficient immune system. Then the third thing it does, it also populates the gut with pre, pro, and post probiotics, which creates a very diverse microbiome, which will support overall immune health. Because remember, 70 to 80% of our immune system resides in our gut. So it's really one of the first places to start. So let me share with you my 5 top picks. There is an order to them, but sometimes depending on my patient's needs, budgetary constraints, availability, compliance, etc., I may play with the dosages and the order of importance. So the first one I encourage my patients to take is called quercetin. Quercetin is a plant pigment called a flavonoid, and it's found in many plants such as red wine, grapes, obviously, onions, green tea, apples, and colored berries like blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, etc. Now, the amazing thing about this flavonoid is that it is antioxidant rich and anti-inflammatory in the body. It prevents immune cells from releasing histamine. So remember, if histamine is prevented in a natural way from being produced, secreted by the immune cells, then all those allergy symptoms are not going to be kicking in full force. So this is almost like a natural antihistamine, if you want. In fact, all these 5 will provide that benefit, each with a different angle and each conferring a different benefit to the body. My second one is obviously vitamin C. Now, this is a natural antihistamine, and it also stops the body from secreting histamine, and it also causes histamine that has already been released to break down quicker in the body. That means the symptoms of hay fever, etc., are reduced. It cuts the severity down and the duration with the right dosage of vitamin C. It's also best when taking vitamin C to take a complex with also a range of bioflavonoids, because each chemical compound flavonoid has many different components which also work together. And also in nature, you don't find vitamin C on its own. You find it in a complex of flavonoids which confer tremendous benefits to the body. The third one is B complex. Now, just a side note, which is really, really important. Most people don't know this. If you are taking any form of B vitamin, specifically a B complex, which is the best form to take it in, it should be methylated. Methylation is a process where it's prepped for proper use in the body. There's a lot of hard science backing this and how beneficial this is. It crosses the blood-brain barrier more readily. It helps the body much more efficiently, and there are many reasons to take methylated Bs. But that being said, there's specific Bs that help with allergies, and one is folic acid and B12 for a number of different reasons. And there was a PubMed study showing that Bs help to reduce the constriction in the throat and mucus buildup in the nose as a result of allergies. And this is specifically B6, but the B complex as well. My next favorite vitamin, or rather mineral, is magnesium. This is such an important mineral even if you don't have allergies. This is a key one to add to your wellness program for many reasons. It's called the magic mineral. It also has natural antihistamine benefits, and it helps to relieve contracted or constricted airways in the lungs. So it's really a bronchial dilator. It opens up the bronchi in the lungs. There are many forms of magnesium, at least 10 forms or more of magnesium. And if the person is looking for bronchial support, then magnesium sulfate is the best form to go for, but other magnesiums will also be helpful. What I like about magnesium also, it has a calming effect on the nervous system, and it relaxes. That's one of the ways it causes an opening of a dilation of the lung bronchial by relaxing the tissue, the soft tissues there. So the fifth key supplement for today is something called NAC, N-acetylcysteine. And this is very important to protect the lungs and any respiratory condition, really. It's an antioxidant, it's an expectorant, it loosens mucus in the air passages, and it's a very important go-to for asthma sufferers or anyone who has any risk of allergies going down into the lungs. So I just want to come back to my patient for a moment. Let me share, I think the best way I can share his progress was actually reading his testimonial. This is just a paragraph from a long, grateful letter that he wrote to me. And this excerpt reads like this. I'm happy to report that this spring, I've had no allergic reactions to the blossoming trees whatsoever, especially the olive tree I tried so hard to avoid. I've also done Pesach cleaning with no reaction to dust particles. I no longer take antihistamines, and neither do I suffer from side effects. He does write, though, in the last 2 days, I have had a slightly itchy nose, but we'll go back to the full program, which will clear this up. But it's nothing in comparison with the springs of the last 20 years. Thank you. So with taking an integrated approach, we're looking at the whole lifestyle, and a functional approach where we look at the underlying causes of allergies, reducing triggers as much as possible, revamping, cleaning up the diet, strengthening the gut and microbiome. It's really, really totally possible to eliminate allergies forever at source by healing the body's reaction to them. Now, if a person's not totally successful, maybe they can cut their symptoms by 20%, maybe 50%, maybe by 90%. And some of my patients will take antihistamines, but then they'll take a lesser dose or less frequently, while they also do go on my allergy program, prevention and treatment program. So that way they're able to toggle with their body until they've worked long enough at desensitizing the body and building the immune system. So it's definitely not an all or nothing. Healing is around the corner. Let me just take a quick look at the chat and see what's come up. Okay, super. So I'm going to invite you to join me again next week on Mind Body Monday. And I want to thank you again for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And just remember, Mind Body Monday is where self-care is the heart of healthcare. Just take one small step to enhance your health in mind, body, and soul. And I'll see you next week.